They're crooks. And I expect the SEC to do something about it.
They're crooks, John Kennedy said. And he expects the new SEC chair to do something about it if he's confirmed. What's up, everybody? It's the Common Sense Investor coming at you with another video. And in this video, I'm aware that a lot of people did not even know that they just had the Senate confirmation hearing for the new SEC chair. Now, after about 4 different people have turned down the job because they said it was going to be impossible to unwind what Ken Griffin, Doug Sipu, and the other market makers have done in our markets. And they couldn't deal with it, they said. But Paul Atkins stood up to the challenge, and he said he'll take on the job. Now, there was a lot said at this confirmation hearing. They didn't confirm him yet. That's a good thing, because we still got time to let our voices be heard in this matter. All right, that's why I did that video reaching out to Trade Trades that I just finished and telling him we need warriors in this. People that he's got 300,000 subscribers. He's got a channel that has a voice that could reach these people, and we can make them listen to us. Now, the hearing was an hour and 50 minutes long, and I took out certain segments of it to show y'all some of the important things that are being said and asked of this man. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was floored with some of the stuff that I heard. Even though I researched this man, and I didn't make the connection that Senator Warren made when she said this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Atkins, you served as an SEC commissioner from 2002 to 2008, the lead up to the 2008 financial crash that crashed the markets, cost 10 million families their homes, and cost millions more their jobs. Your job was to spot and head off risks that were building up in financial markets, but you showed staggeringly bad judgment. Look, this job is about judgment. And holding up on your resume that you were one of the people on the job to exercise judgment in the run-up to the biggest crash since the Great Depression, and now your hindsight is not 20/20, it's 20/0. You still say that weakening those regulations didn't have anything to do with that crash. I really hope you will read the bipartisan analysis that says otherwise, because it's very dangerous to have you in charge of the SEC.
Now, that's what's called hitting it out the park, people. She put it to his ass. Wait a minute. Let me see if I got this right. You were part of the commission where during the time of the 2008 crash, y'all were reducing regulations and making it easier for fraud and corruption where tens of millions of people lost their homes. And you want us to let you be back in charge again. Wow. Then she made a really startling discovery. And when she said this, I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. This is what she called free bribes.
Now, one of my other top concerns about your nomination, Mr. Atkins, is that your judgment will be influenced by more than an objective assessment of the data in front of you. After your stint as an SEC commissioner, you founded a consulting firm called Potomac Global Partners. Potomac counts every kind of financial firm subject to the SEC's rules among its clients: banks, asset managers, brokers, exchanges, fintechs, and crypto companies. Your clients pay you north of $1,200 an hour for advice on how to influence regulators like the SEC. And if you're confirmed, you will be in a prime spot to deliver for all those clients who've been paying you millions of dollars for years. So, Mr. Atkins, given how breathtaking your financial conflicts of interest are, I sent you a letter requesting that you commit to a higher standard of government ethics. Slow down the revolving door here. Several major financial regulators in the previous administration agreed to these higher standards, but you sent me a response 10 minutes before this hearing started saying, no, you think you've done enough. That is deeply concerning to me. But let's focus on just getting one thing straight. Your consulting company is estimated to be worth about $50 million. Will you at least disclose, you've said that you will sell it if you are confirmed. Will you disclose who the buyers are and how much they pay so that we can make certain that these are not people who are just buying access to the future chair of the SEC?
Senator Warren, I have abided by the Office of Government Ethics.
I have a question about selling Potomac Partners. It's an easy yes.
I will abide by the process.
So is that a no? You're not going to tell us who you sell it to and how much money you get? To people who will have business in front of the SEC. You know, some people might call that a pre-bribe. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Did you hear what she said? Paul Atkins, the person Donald Trump put up to be nominated for the head of the SEC, owns a company called Potomac Global Partners, who anybody that has business in front of the SEC is a client of his already, and they're paying him millions of dollars.
I'd like to follow up on our discussion, specifically regarding the 2008 financial crisis, which devastated millions of Americans. Millions of Americans, as you know, lost their jobs, families lost their homes, seniors lost their retirement savings. And instead of families getting the help they needed, Americans saw Wall Street get bailed out. You served as a commissioner on the Securities and Exchange Commission under President Bush during the lead up to the crisis from 2002 to 2008. I'm asking because, you know, there are communities in Atlanta, especially communities that I'm close to and folks that I know and people in my church that still haven't recovered. I mean, we saw a huge transfer of wealth as a result of this crisis. The banks got bailed out, Wall Street got bailed out, but consumers didn't get bailed out.
On you, Mr. Atkins, I'm deeply concerned about your record. And even in the course of this hearing, when asked about why the financial crisis happened, I have here SEC distractions. I have ancillary issues. Instead of the question when it was posed to you, was there overregulation? You said misregulation. You mentioned Fannie and Freddie. Was there anything that you got wrong?
Well, Senator, I was one of 5 commissioners, and obviously I was not in charge.
The SEC's Inspector General determined that this program and the poor oversight of these banks by the SEC contributed to the crisis. And as Senator Warnock said, we saw people lose their homes, people lose their jobs and their retirement savings.
I only have a minute left and I have 2 more questions. Shifting gears, I want to touch on the SEC Consolidated Audit Trail, or CAT. The massive data collection poses serious security and privacy risk for consumers. I am pleased that the agency has recently halted the CAT collection of certain personal identifiable information. However, I still have concerns that the data that's already been collected and stored within CAT creates a target for bad actors. Mr. Atkins, will you commit to reevaluating both the necessity of CAT and whether adequate protections are in place to safeguard that data that has already been collected?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I look forward to your leadership on that.